Today, I'm in the beautiful Victoria State Library in the city of Melbourne. And I'm going to show you how you can create powerful frame of forms, send the data to any database of your choice, and create flexible workflows on that data. Get ready for a whole new world of possibilities with Framer and BuildShip. Let's go. Let's say you're building your website on Framer and you want to add a simple form to that. It could be a subscription form for your newsletter or a form where you collect some information from a user, for example, contact information, or a form that triggers a sequence of workflows based on that action to save that data to your database or any other third-party tools. Now, the standard forms that are available on Framer are very limited. You can only connect to, for example, MailChimp or some FormSpark and things like that. But those can be very limiting in what you can do for the processing. Today, we're going to just see that simple forms that you can add to Framer, tweak with any kind of fields you would like, and save that to any other place like a database or Airtable, Google Sheets, and build further workflows on what you want to do. Maybe you want to send an email via SendGrid. Maybe you want to alert on Slack. So the possibilities are limitless on what you can do with this BuildShip forms. All right, let's get started. So on your website on Framer, you need to add a form. So for that, let me get rid of this and go here into Assets and add a new code block. Let me give this a title of Newsletter Sign Up and create this component. You don't need to know how to code. All you need to do is copy paste the code snippet that we have linked in the description and simply paste that in and replace this entire content with it. So let me select all and Control V to replace it and then save it to see the form that has shown up here. Now, if you want to collect more information, like more than an email, if you want to collect description, or if you want to change this title or this button call to action, all that is super simple to do. So you just go here and look for the word subscribe to our product newsletter. As you can see, it shows up here. So you can change this to anything you want. You can also look up sign up and change this value. Say, suppose you want to say submit. Now, to add more fields, it's pretty straightforward if you're familiar with HTML, where you say that there is an input field of email, then you can copy paste and add another input field. You can add text area and so on. Now, obviously, if you don't know how to code, all that you need to do is copy this over to ChatGPT, our friend, and ask it to say, hey, to this form, add another field for collecting some information, like just give it a title, give it a field name, etc. And then it'll generate it for you. You copy paste it here and you'll be able to see it on the right hand side when you save it. So you don't need to actually know the code. You just interact with ChatGPT and make it happen. Now, there are a few parts here that you have to know a bit about to understand what you need to do. So first and foremost, it's asking you to submit a form URL. This is where the submitted form information is sent to via an API call. We'll be building this API using BuildShip, which is a low-code visual API builder that you can step-by-step visually build your API. I'll talk about that in 1 second. So moving on, there are a few other things to take care of. So using this API, it's making a post request and it's sending the email. Now, if you added another field, say for example, details, you just need to add a comma here and add that field name, whatever is the field name that is being set here. And this email field is the one that is being used here. So you don't need to actually do this. You simply in ChatGPT very clearly prompt saying, add this field called description and submit it via the form. And it'll actually do it for you. You don't need to do any of those changes that I mentioned. All you need to simply change in this is this URL. Okay, now let's go to BuildShip to see how you can build this URL and handle your submissions. On BuildShip, when you get set up, you get a project, and in that you can start building your workflows. You can start from scratch like this, add an API call, and you're building an API workflow. You can make it a post request type. You can give this a name saying newsletter submission. And then you can add what you want to do with it. Maybe you want to send a message to Discord. So you can use our pre-built nodes here and simply add that. Or if you want, you can store it to a database like Firestore or Supabase and simply create a document. Also, you can use BuildShip's own database. So BuildShip comes with inbuilt database that you can use if you would like. But if you don't want, you can actually use any database like Postgres, MySQL, Firestore, Supabase. What's interesting is if a node is missing for you here, you don't need to wait on us to create it. You can create your own node with AI. And you can say, for example, send a message on Slack. If you have access to a sample API code, you can just pop that here. You can also say things like input is a message. And if you have any output that you want to get back, you can have that. But in this case, there's no output, so you can leave it as it is. So yeah, that's simple way to generate a node. So in this example, when someone submits an email for signing up for newsletter, obviously we want to send them an email at some point, right? So you can use SendGrid for adding them to the list. So for example, here on SendGrid, you can use one of these nodes or use the add to contact list node to get them added to a SendGrid newsletter. For the purpose of this example, we'll just create a document with that information that is coming in. So let's call this product newsletter. This is the table name that will be used on BuildShip. Then document ID, if you want to give a sequential or specific document ID, you can do that, or optionally, you can simply leave it blank. Then finally, you can have in here, what is the data that you want to be saved? So from the incoming request, in the body, we have the email. So let's just put the body as the data and save it. And finally, you want to return something. You want to say success or failure, right? So if it is successfully saved in the database, you say status return okay, and that's it. Now you click ship and it takes a few seconds and gives you this URL. That's it. How easy is that? Now all you need to do is copy this endpoint URL and go back to Framer and put it here in the form URL. And then you'll be done. Now you have a fully functioning form that you can use in your website. You can test it out by giving it some email. So hello@hello.com. And when you click sign up, it says thank you for subscribing. And now if you go to BuildShip, you have handy logs at this point where you can click refresh or you can do auto fetching. So let me go here and refresh this. And as you can see, there is a message here and it's successful. And you can see that the email is right here inside the body and email that you just sent. Great. Now this block of newsletter sign up is working perfectly. All that you need to do is place this in your website, in your page at specific location where you want it. So let's go ahead and go to the pages where you want it to be inserted. Say, for example, here at this location, after all these rows, say, suppose right after the social, in the row section, I want it to be added. I go back to the assets and click here and say insert. That's it. Now, if you go here, this has been added. You can obviously tweak the styling of this easily. As I mentioned, all that you need to do for that is go back to this, copy this code and put it in ChatGPT and say, change the color to blue or pink and change the text color to black. So you can do whatever you want by just prompting it correctly and you'll get back the code. Now, the best thing about this whole thing is that it's not just a form that you have unlocked. You have actually unlocked a way for you to do anything you want in Framer. So starting from this point, right, you have this sign up form submission. It can be anything like a contact form or, hey, I'm building a marketplace where someone needs to be connected with someone and someone fills a form. I need to send them certain kind of action items. All that you need to do is go to your BuildShip workflow and start doing that action parallelly. For example, here, every time a request comes in, parallelly, I can create a document. So let me drag and drop this under parallel. I can also send a message on Discord to alert my team members, hey, a new agent has signed up. I need to do certain things. You can define what message needs to go there. You can define the webhook of your Discord by just going to Discord, creating a channel, or you can do anything you want basically. So the possibilities of what you can do is actually limitless, and everything here is tweakable with low code. So you can go and look at this if you want. You don't need to. You can also edit a node with AI and say that, hey, after you get the message, append something to it. You can tweak the logic of every pre-built node or generate your own node with AI. That's it. So hopefully this gives you a great idea of what you can do with Framer and low code with BuildShip. And in the next Framer video, we are looking to add how can you fetch data from an external API and display it on Framer website. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more of such amazing video content, and we love to see what you build next.